Hello my friends and welcome to Practice English with Paul. Today, the ultimate video for you, how to learn vocabulary. Now, I'm a linguist myself. I spent years learning German words, expressions, idioms, everything you can imagine. I really feel that sometimes I wasted a lot of time, but sometimes we're effective through personal experience as a linguist and also as a professional teacher. I want to sort of give you my advice on how to learn vocabulary. There are some very important things to know and also some very important things not to do. Okay. Now, interestingly enough, when I was searching on the internet, it seemed that so many students are not looking for the best way of learning vocabulary, they are looking for the easiest way. If you are looking for the easiest way, my friends, it will not work. There is no easy way. It's always hard work. Sometimes it is boring, but again, not everything can be fun and games in life. Sometimes we do need to work hard. I personally believe that some of the methods to learn vocabulary are not the easiest, but they are the best and they do work better than others. We need to make sure that we don't waste time. A lot of you have jobs and university. We need to be effective with the time that we have. Now, what ingredients do we need to learn vocabulary effectively? Okay, so even before I give you tips, we need to understand how to use the mind. The first one, be active. You need to be active, my friends. You can't learn vocabulary passively by dun, 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 dun. It's not going to work very well. You need to actively use it. So maybe practice speaking with it, maybe write some of your own examples. I'll give you some more ideas later for this, but you've got to be active with it for it to stay in your head. I'm sure a lot of you have the same problem as me, where even like in Russian, sometimes I just have a list of words. I don't really learn them actively. I just look at the list. I'm not going to remember them the next day. That's the problem. Okay, so I've just wasted 10 minutes by looking at that list. Okay, I could do something a lot more effective. We have be organized. Being organized is extremely important, as I will show you in a minute. You need to record your vocabulary. You need to record it in a very organized way. Now here's an example for you to think about. I don't know about you, but for me personally, when I was at university and I was in a seminar or a lecture, sometimes I wrote notes and it was so messy and disorganized. And so a few weeks later, when I wanted to revise for my tests, I looked at the piece of paper and I just put it away because I thought it was worth nothing. It was so untidy. I had drawings all over it and I never looked at it again. But there was important information on that piece of paper. So again, you want to be tidy, organized and clear so you can come back to it at another date. Push yourself. Push yourself and take the initiative. Go hand in hand. And I'm going to explain why, my friends, with a nice example. I once had a student called Maria. She was a fantastic student, a good friend. She did CAE with me. Now, I have students that just sometimes come and go. Okay, fine, whatever. But Maria, she interested me because every lesson she would come to me and say, "Oh, Paul, I found this word which I can't find in a dictionary, or I'm not sure what it means. What does it mean?" Every lesson she was asking me this. She was taking the initiative. I didn't ask her to read this material. I didn't ask her to do it. She wanted to do it herself. So she was learning a lot of words herself. She was reading herself, studying English herself, plus doing my lessons. She got an A at CAE. That's the key. So take the initiative, push yourself, make yourself learn the vocabulary. Again, be active. If you're going to be passive and just read lists and not make sentences, write essays, speak, not much is going to happen. Okay, you've got to take the initiative. I do not need to tell you to go and buy some books. I can recommend which ones to buy, but I can't make you do it. Be realistic. Now, my friends, how many words should you learn a week? 5, 10, 20, 50, 70, 100? Definitely not 1,000. That's a pretty big number and quite unrealistic. It depends. Do you have a family? Do you have a busy job? A stressful job? Do you have other personal obligations? Or are you completely free? So you need to sort of think about how you can realistically learn vocabulary. You need to do it every day. Maybe, I think one of the best ways is to have between maybe 10 to 15 words and or expressions every day. And again, down here under tips and tricks, I will teach you how to do this. But you've got to do it every day, okay? Now, I wanted to tell you about this. Watch out for false advertisements. Now, my friends, so many times I've looked at these online communities, on the internet, some language schools somewhere in the world, and they say on their website, you can learn with us 100 words a day. Pfft, yeah, really? Of course. I'm sure if you have no job, no children, absolutely nothing to do, you probably could memorize 100 words a day, but to use them correctly and in context, I don't believe it. Now, I'm an experienced teacher and I'm a linguist. Out of the thousands of people I have taught, it's never happened. Never. And maybe there is some person in the world who can do it, but that's one. But I really don't believe in these advertisements like online or language schools that say, learn English in 5 months, learn 100 words a day. It's impossible. It's completely unrealistic. As we will see in a minute, the key is to how well you learn those words and about using context, because otherwise words mean nothing. All right? Now, what we're going to do, we're going to have a look at, firstly, how not to learn vocabulary. So that sounds very unusual to do the negative part first, but you will understand why. And then we will look at how to learn vocabulary correctly. Okay, and then some little tips and tricks that you can do at home or at work or with your phone or tablets that can really help you learn vocabulary more effectively. Okay, so let's have a look at how not to learn vocabulary. So, welcome back. In this part, I'm going to show you how not to learn vocabulary. Okay, and in fact, I'm going to put that not right there. Right now, as I said before, you need to be organized, and we do need to record vocabulary somewhere. Now, for example, you get a sort of book like this, like sort of paper. You can do the line down the center, like English, Russian, or English, Arabic, on either side. It doesn't matter. Kind of like what I've done here. Okay. But there is a way of doing this. Now, if you're a beginner or elementary, of course, you just need simple words. Like dog, blah, blah, blah. Rain, blah, blah, blah. That's quite simple. But what happens when you start to go sort of up the levels? It becomes a lot more difficult. My dear old professor at university once said to me, a word has no meaning, it only has the meaning in the context of a sentence. And to be honest, to the most part, I agree with that. But of course, with things like concrete nouns, dog, rain, etc., you just need basic translations. That's fine. Potato, blah, blah, blah. Chair, blah, 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 etc. But as we can see here, what happens if we have, for example, discourse marker on top of that and a basic translation? It tells me nothing. I don't know if it's formal. I don't know if it's informal. Is it spoken? Is it written? It tells me nothing. How do I use it in a sentence? For example, here, phrasal verb, crop up. Now, I have my translation, blah, 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 in my special, beautiful language here, which I just created 5 seconds ago. But crop up, now, like, if you just have your basic translation, I promise you, it will not help. Because with phrasal verbs, it's a classic example, my friends, you need context. You can only learn them as collocations or in the context of a sentence. Because to crop up means that something unexpectedly appears. Like imagine, for example, that you're about to have a business meeting and you say, oh no, I can't come to the meeting. Something has just cropped up. I have to go. And it's used very specifically. Now, a lot of dictionaries probably, as we will see here in a minute, do not give such detailed information. You need to find that, okay? It's just not enough to write like a phrasal verb like that. It's not going to help you. So, for example, when you look at many like phrasal verb books, like my best one, my favourite one, Phrasal Verb Organizer, it's actually on my wall. If you scroll down for 10 minutes, it's there. Phrasal Verb Organizer always gives phrasal verbs in their context, like which words they are used with, and that's very, very helpful. Now, for example, charge. I have written the word charge. Now, I should really, I've got my translation, but really I should write many more because this word has so many different meanings. And I haven't written down any of them. I've just written the word charge. I have probably translated one meaning. There are many versions of this, and there are many expressions of the word charge. Like just by having the word charge, you can increase your vocabulary by about 30 words, basically. And I haven't done anything with it, okay? Now, even here, for example, I've got he hit the roof. I saw that somewhere, so I recorded it. He hit the roof. And I've translated it into my language. But again, I understand it means angry. How angry? Is it spoken? Is it written? Is it formal? Is it informal? Again, it tells me nothing. And so I need to take the initiative and push myself to go to a good dictionary online like oxforddictionaries.com or Merriam-Webster if you want American English, and it will tell you this. Okay, a good dictionary will tell you this. Now, going to the online dictionaries, as I just said, now, like anything, my friends, as I said in my previous videos, if you want something which is of good quality, you need to pay for it. Okay, anything for free is not going to be that good. If you type in this expression to hit the roof into Google Translate, I doubt you would get a very precise translation. I really doubt it. Dog, rain, sure. Okay, but again, if I typed in charge, like she charged me too much, I could get the completely sort of different meaning from Google Translate. It doesn't help. You need a good dictionary. So either one of the old sort of classic ones, like the paper ones, like I used for learning German, they were fantastic. Or, I think oxforddictionaries.com, Merriam-Webster, or you pay for a very good one, okay? Be careful with these though, because they don't always give you accurate information. Another point I would like to make about how not to learn vocabulary is this. And I'm sure many of you have done this. I did it myself when I was learning German, and I was stupid to do it. Sometimes when I'm in class, or when I was in class, I'd have my sort of book and I would have my notes, and I'd make little sort of translations or little bits of vocab around the page like this. Now, being honest, did I look at that sheet of paper again? Not really. So those words that I recorded were gone. Now, again, to be organized, like if you remember my ingredients before, be organized. If you have just written down words somewhere, copy them to your vocab list. Okay, if it's on here or on your tablet, it doesn't matter. Record it so it's organized and neat and it's easy for you to follow. It's very important that you do this, my friends, or you're just going to waste time. Then don't write words down in the lesson that you're not going to use. Time is short, okay? Now, with that, I think it's quite clear. So, now I am going to show you how to learn vocabulary, okay? The important part. So welcome back. Let's have a look at how to record your vocabulary correctly. Now, I have taken the word to decide. You should know this word, it's quite a basic word. Now, if you, say, read a book, you see the word decide and you write it into your vocabulary list, if you only write the word decide, that will not help you very much because look, all of this is related to the word decide. So I have my noun and adjective form of the verb decide. I also have the preposition because sometimes decide can have a preposition to decide on something. Have we decided on a plan? I have also written here plus infinitive. So even some little grammatical help here. So I now know to say I decided to do my homework and not I decided doing my homework. Blah. Okay, so even something as small as this can help you, my friends, to be effective, to not look in grammar books all the time. I've got the noun form, decision, okay, and I have here some collocations. If you don't know what a collocation is like a combination of words that fit together, and we need to learn many collocations by heart. You probably know this, like to make your bed, to do your homework, to do your best, to make a cake. Or unless I've just said that, for example. Okay. For example, to make a decision, to come to a decision, to reach a decision, and to amend a decision. And in red, I have written legal, and it's telling me that it's legal English. Okay. And so I would not use this in a sort of informal conversation, only in a very formal one, like maybe sort of academics and sort of the legal area. And here, I have done the most important thing. I have written some of my own example sentences. Now, if you don't know what sentences to write, when you look at a sort of good online dictionary, it will tell you, or give you, a few example sentences. Some of them are not very easy to follow, but some of them are. And you can make your own sentences based on that model. Okay, or even something quite simple that you know, basic grammar, present perfect, present simple, doesn't matter, just to make your brain active. For example, I decided to do my work. I'm using decide plus infinitive. Beautiful English. Have you decided on what to buy? That's a fantastic sentence. We were even using a present perfect with the word decide. So we're practicing our grammar and our new word. Okay, plus the preposition. I want to use the noun plus the verb phrase. So I have made a decision and I will visit the museum. So for example, do you want to visit the museum or the cinema? Well, I have made a decision and I want to visit the museum. Perfect, you're using it. Say that a few more times. Look at it a few more times. It will stay in your head. I also recorded the adjective, decisive. In brackets, I have the negative prefix, indecisive, because English has quite a few negative prefixes. They usually follow a sort of grammatical model, but not always. But again, just record it. And I have ness, because quite often abstract nouns have the suffix ness. So decisiveness, indecisiveness. And I have, again, another example. I don't like indecisive people. I can't stand indecisiveness. Wow, just from that new word, you have made a really nice sort of semi-formal phrase there that sounds professional, it sounds good. It's better than, I don't like people who can't decide all the time. I don't like indecisiveness. Wow, okay? Just from copying words from your online dictionary. That's it, simple, right? Now, if you don't know how to use some of these words, what you can do is just type them into Google or whatever search engine, and you will find some examples of how to use it in a sentence. I sometimes type into Google decisive in a sentence, and enter, bang, many examples, okay? So we've done one particular word and all the parts, which is very important, especially if you're doing an exam. It's really good to do this, okay? It's going to help you a lot in the future because you don't have to do it again. You have everything here. Now, this side, okay? Now, here I've got the phrasal verb to give up. I'm sure you know the phrasal verb to give up. Now, I have also written the partner verb to quit, the more semi-formal, formal version of to give up. So that helps me understand that if I'm talking to people, I will say give up. If I'm in a more formal situation, I will say quit. But I've also got some examples, some sort of collocations, because you can give up smoking, you can give up drinking, you can give up studying, like you stop doing it. Of course, there are many more sort of meanings of give up. For example, surrender, like I give up. Or you don't know an answer. What's the answer to this question? I don't know. I give up. I give up. Okay. There are more to this, and again, a good dictionary will tell you, and you record all of them down. And for example, yet again, I have my sentence. I gave up going to the gym because it became too expensive. Perfect English, and you're using the sentence actively. You're using that vocab actively. That's what you need to do to make it stay in your head. Okay, and I'll say that again and again and again. Another thing, for example, if you have a verb and you write a verb down, like wait, in a dictionary it will tell you this preposition for, because we often say to wait for someone. I'm waiting for the bus. I'm waiting for you to finish your class. I'm waiting for you to phone me. Okay, and again, I put sort of here in blue some more of my own written examples. Now here, to advise, I've put to advise somebody to do something. I've written down all the parts of that verb. Okay, not just to advise, because, okay, well done, you know the verb to advise, but do you know how to use it correctly? Well, like this, you will. To advise somebody to do something. And again, an example, he advised me to do my homework before the lesson. Perfect. He advised me to give up smoking. Just from this, you're making some fantastic structures already. Just from having an organized vocabulary list, my friends. Now, the last one, to make a mountain out of a molehill. This is an expression, and I've written the sort of single word, which is a kind of equivalent of this expression, exaggerate. And I have my translation here, because of course we always sort of translate into our own languages. Some people say don't do it, I think it's fine. But generally, to make a mountain out of a molehill, exaggerate, it means that I make a story much bigger than it really is. I'm exaggerating. So I was going to work and it was raining so heavily and I got so wet. Really? It was raining a little bit and I was a little bit wet. I was making a mountain out of a molehill. Okay? Now, I hope that has helped you, my friends, to show you how to record vocabulary. So, to summarize, write down all the parts of the word. A good dictionary will tell you this. Just copy it. Okay? And on the other hand, write down all those collocations, all those words we can use with it, and most importantly, write your own examples, okay? You have to be active to learn vocabulary and to actually make it come out of your mouth. Now, I'm going to the last section now, my friends, which I'm going to talk about a few tips and tricks that you can do to learn vocabulary, okay? Let's do it. So my friends, we have looked at the ingredients which we need to learn vocabulary effectively, be organised, be active. We've looked at how to record your vocabulary and how not to record it. And it's very important that we understand that. But now we will look at some ways to learn vocabulary. Now, it depends on you as a person. Are you a visual learner? Like me, for example, I like to have like a list in front of me that I can see the examples and say them again in my head. That's how I learn. It's how I learn German. Some people can learn by just listening, and they're able then to suddenly speak. I mean, that's fantastic. Some people are kinesthetic. They like to get up and move around. It helps them remember things. A way that I quite like is the use of prompt cards. Now, sort of got this here. Sometimes you will see people on public transport with bits of card, like this. Prompt cards are very useful, so you can record your vocabulary like we did before on prompt cards. You can have maybe English on one side and your language on the other. So you can just go over the examples, read the examples to yourself, look at all those structures, the prepositions, parts of the verb, and then you can just check. Oh, I was right, hurrah. And those will be your 10 or 15 for the day. I mean, I think 10's probably enough, especially if there's some idioms in there. And then the next day you do some more. So it doesn't take long to do a prompt card. Okay, it really, really doesn't. I know that there are some special applications for mobile phones. I think Memrise, I've looked at Memrise, it doesn't seem bad, but again, it's still a good application to throw words at you and to test you. But again, you need context, very important. Notes around the house. Do you see these things? Yep, I did that when I was learning German, and it really annoyed the people I was living with because there were bits of paper everywhere. If it works for you, do it, okay? But again, don't just have one word, have your parts on it. That's why I think maybe these notes are very good if you're like beginner or elementary, when you don't need sort of a lot of explanation. It's just a simple concrete noun or a simple basic adjective. But when you get more advanced, I think these things will be a little bit too small, especially for like decide, as we saw, okay? But if you like it, do it. If you're happy to put big pieces of paper all over your house, do it. I know, for example, some people put their weekly vocabulary lists on the back of the toilet door because that way they can sit and stare at it for like 5 minutes. I don't care how you do it, I just care that you learn vocabulary. Find the best way for you, even if it's just by the bed. It's like, good night my darling, and study for 10 minutes. Doesn't matter. Learn by association. Some people talk about this. It's a kind of psychological phenomenon, learn by association. That's like, you know, when you go shopping and you don't have a shopping list and you try to remember what you need to buy by sort of creating some memory, like some association. So I need to buy eggs, white chicken things. I need to buy cucumbers, long green things. I need to buy tomatoes, sweet red things that are round. I need to buy some jam, sweet, tasty red stuff I put on toast. And again, I think association is quite a good way. It works subconsciously too. For example, just as an interesting example, a few days ago, I said to my students the Russian word for town or city, like Gorod. It sounds to me, to my ears, it sounds to me like the name of a monster, to be honest. My name is Gorod and I will kill you. And then, literally a few days ago, I was playing Mortal Kombat on the PlayStation, and I suddenly remembered there was a character called Goro. And so subconsciously, I made this association that the sound Gorod sounds like a monster, and that's where it came from. So the power of association is actually quite a strong thing. But then on the other hand, I don't think you can try to associate say 100 words a week. There's a lot of work to do, to be honest. I'll go down to the next thing that I think will help, but it's something to think about that you can read about yourself. Again, as we say in the linguistic world, use it or lose it. So write or say your own examples. As I said at the beginning, my friends, be active, get it out, write your own examples, write essays. The problem is nowadays, I don't know what it's like in your countries, but I definitely know a lot of the textbooks that teachers use from beginner to upper intermediate, there is very little writing which is done, unfortunately. There are writing exercises in those books, but a lot of teachers don't do them. Only really when you get to exam classes, and therefore it takes a lot more like preparation. So yes, write your own examples because you're going to use it again and again and again. Okay, write stories. I know some students that do, and they practice their English that way. So when I have my classes, I often do projects or I do certain activities where I really get them using that language. Draw pictures, I heard this online, draw pictures to remember vocabulary. That's fine if you're a beginner or elementary. Further than that, it will not help. It's too much work. Again, be realistic. If you're going to learn a lot of legal words for your IELTS exam, are you going to draw pictures for it? Probably not. Okay, but this is the key, number 8. Repeat, repeat, and repeat, and repeat, and repeat. And I'll say it one more time, repeat. You have to use a word several times before it stays in your head. Write it, say it. Okay, now just to sort of finish off, my friends, as I said, you need to be responsible for your own vocabulary learning. You need to follow exactly what I have just told you, and you will learn effectively. The problem is online, on Facebook, for Contactia, and all over the internet, there are so many, or I should say, there's so much material that people just like copy, download, or buy it and whatever. But it's just passive. People, I believe, just really just take it and don't use it so much. And that's unfortunate, because even though there is so much information for learning English online, people just aren't using it properly. To use it properly, you've got to do it like I have just told you. And if you are organized and you stick to the plan, your English will go up like that. And I promise you it will. Okay, but like I say, the most important thing, my friends, is be organized, take the initiative, and you will be absolutely fine. So if you have any further questions, please leave some comments below. I'll be happy to answer them. Please subscribe to my channel, give it a like, and I will start making some videos on listening skills, reading skills, and every other skill. Okay, have a nice weekend, my friends, and take care. Bye-bye.